Guy Ritchie knows movies.
Yeah, he does.
Say what you will about his indiscretions in his personal life and marrying a soulless human being like Madonna.
Yeah.
And I say this because I don't know Madonna. She might be a really nice human being, but based on what I've seen in popular culture, I don't know, it's kind of like when you have enough content produced in the real world that's, it's not freeform. It's not like Madonna had a YouTube channel where she was like pouring her heart and soul out about her problems. She just continued to collect the paycheck, keep her mouth shut, and inject whatever the thing's into her face.
So much in her face.
Yeah, and that's a lot of that. It's vanity and ego and inability to do applied mathematics, and that's what this is. This is a channel for applied mathematics. And one of the things that I have a lot of credit in myself is that I was able to make you understand, Jamie, that life is really short, and that's one of the things that is a theme that is universal in every content or anything that I have my little signature on. And I really want to remind everyone at home that Thanksgiving is around the corner. And we have I have a stuffed nose, so people automatically assume that either I'm on drugs or...
You always say this.
Because of the episode of The Sniffling Accountant. It's the Seinfeld episode.
You always have a stuffy. I feel like if the second it rains, especially.
It's really funny, though, because...
Like the pressure, maybe, or something?
I'm a 42-year-old man, and I've tried narcotics before, and never around my children or anything like crazy like that, or anyone else's. Well, because people don't really distinguish... Because people don't distinguish between adults and adult time and adult theme matters and intertwining them as a father, because the assumption is always that there is this irresponsible element that's associated with the decisions that adults make. And I'm sorry, like, I've made bad decisions in the past, but this is a channel that is designed for truth and applied mathematics, and those two elements really don't allow for lies to exist within them, because math is rooted on the Phoenician numerical system, which really is the core belief before the Roman decimal system, or after, of why we live in a world of lies, because the Romans had numbers embedded into their language system, which prevented humans from using the written text to lie.
Okay.
I mean, they could, but it was a lot harder. It wasn't until numbers and letters were separated that we as a society started to really produce things like the Bible, which, in my opinion, is not the truth. It is nothing more than a series of very eloquently stated stories. And awesome. Good job, Mel. So I'm working on a couple of really exciting projects, and buckle up, Jamie. I mean, literally buckle up. We're not going anywhere, but
I'm ready.
We got to be buckled in and ready.
I'm ready.
And one of the reasons why it's taken me a couple of years to really understand, like, what is the problem with my content? What is the big deal? I don't ask anyone for money. I don't do anything except speak the truth. The things that I say on camera and the videos that I filmed are 100% true. I've made certain mistakes that I recognize, but as a human being who's filmed thousands of hours of content, how could I, and published it for years? Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that there's a data bank of 1,000 videos that we don't publish. At least. Yeah, until the meeting, because the fact of the matter is, and that's a little reach around lawyer action there for you. The fact of the matter is that you, the audience, your perception of reality is so distorted by the countless interjections of popular culture that intertwine between your confusion and your state of understanding. And what that means is that you're not able to distinguish between the things that you know that are true and the things that you know that are not true. And the further we go into this world of lies, the more of a confused state. So like me...
Why don't you say that thing you said the other day about how we live in a world of lies? We used to live in a blind...
So
that was very poignant.
Towards the 60s, communication became readily available to most people that were able to call their friends, and they knew that there was a world out there, but it was very hazy. And one of the reasons why I scared a lot of people when I was a child is because living in a hazy world, I had very, very strong vision. My vision allowed me to see things in the future, which became social trends, and obviously I jumped on it the best I could. But at the same time, I caused a lot of these social trends, and I recognized the work that I personally was doing in order to usher our society into the next fold. But in my small circle in Livingston, New Jersey, I scared people so much by my vision, because we did live in a cloudy world. And as we go into a digital world, and the point of what I'm saying is the analog analogy is that digital is much clearer than analog. So as we got rid of the haziness and the fog, and we're able to communicate via FaceTime and instant digital email and things like that, we really torpedoed towards a world of lies. Speed and torpedo together. I mean, isn't that what the brand is? And we live in a world of lies, because the second that we became exposed to the rest of the world, we said, oh, no, that's not who I am. I am this guy that composes these emails. Look at me. Look at these emails. Look at me on Facebook. This is me. Facebook. But that's not who you really are. You're a giant, mushy ball of fear. And you're afraid. And that's really what the issue is with this content, is that your biggest fears come true when Dan and Jamie talk. Because, well, what do you mean?
You're right.
Yeah, your biggest fears come true. Because anyone who sees this knows that, A, I do care for you a lot. I don't even pretend like I don't. I love my wife, and I do. I really do. And I hope that I'm able to have her recognize how special she is in my life. Or I don't even know how to say it, because she's actually commented to me that it's like, oh, you make yourself look like the saint on YouTube. And I was like, how do I make myself look like a saint on YouTube as I lambast you and your family for various things that I feel that I was wronged about? And family is just one of those things where most people don't consciously choose who is their family, and I did. That's really what my beef is with my in-laws, is that, man, I spent a really long time working on selecting and looking at their genetics, and I named genes.
It's rough. You haven't had a...
Well, because the family that I was born into, I just don't feel is worthy of my talents. And my talents are really love and fixing things and solving problems.
They've been really bad to you.
They have. They have been really bad. And one of the things that I want to remind everyone is that my brother Mark, he used to be a good guy. And the reason why I say this is because I was talking about the story about how we used to go to that tiny apartment in Mark's.
Oh, yeah.
It was the world's smallest apartment, but we were happy, and Mark was rolling J's, and he was just a cool dude. And the biggest issue that I found with Mark is he really changed when he started drinking on a daily basis. And it's very difficult to talk about because we weren't raised in a household of alcohol. And that's one of the things that I found very interesting about Mark's choice and penchant for liquor at a later stage in life, because we weren't raised around booze. My mom drank sometimes, but I'm not going to be here saying I'm speaking the truth and call my mom an alcoholic, because that's not what her vice was. And she actually didn't have that many vices. That's the ironic part of the whole thing, is that Rita is not a traditional addict. Her addiction is debtor based, and I didn't learn what Debtors Anonymous was, or what human beings who are constantly finding themselves borrowing money. And what's ironic about that is I am in a bad place, but that is because of my mother. And it's almost like, now that I verbalize it, it's almost like she wanted me to experience what her life was like. And I kept telling her whole life that, hey, money is not who you're defined as. It's just a thing. And she was always... My brother and my mother are very, very similar. And I'm similar to them as well. but I'm cognizant and conscious of it. And one of the things that I told you off camera in our green room, which is literally this, as a matter of fact, we're in the green room right now. We're in the green room right now. Just love Kramer. And my brother, I have this, you know, I've always found my brother's friends to be a lot more intelligent and more fascinating than my friends. And Gary and Matt Rose were really the only two people.
But they were your age.
Gary and Matt Rose were my age, but my brother,
he had his other two friends. Those two.
My brother had 5 good friends, and that was Mike Mikeson, Yuri Mushkin, Elon Goldenberg, Alex Shapiro, and
the other guy you said his name yesterday, and I'm trying to remember.
Well, it's Alex Shapiro, Mike Mikeson, Elon Goldenberg, Yuri Mushkin,
something with a J.
Mark Rhesus, something with a J.
Oh my God, what was the name? What were the two people you were talking about yesterday?
It was just Mike Mikeson and Alex Shapiro. Yeah,
maybe I was thinking of
they were the two smartest. And no offense to Yuri or Elon, and Elon was really, really intelligent. He was a master at fantasy everything, and he was extremely kind. He still has a brother with disabilities. And he was so kind to him, and he was an older brother, that it really made me ashamed to be Mark's brother, because Mark was such a dick when we were growing up. And I wasn't, you know, I didn't have the disabilities that Elon's brother had, you know, had. And I know his story was pretty good. He was working at a print shop, last I heard. And it really, God, it really, you ever get the text message and you're just like, oh God. It really is remarkable